No, not much, man. But hey, UFC's back this weekend. Did you know that? Oh, man, I can't remember who it is. Let me check who the main event is real quick. One sec. We'll watch the next one. Actually, the next one's bad too. We'll watch 304, okay? I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call then. Well, guys, it's July, and we're in the dog days here as UFC fans. Those of you that play baseball or follow baseball might know what I'm talking about with the dog days reference, but today we're going to be doing a breakdown of this unacceptable fight night card. I mean, genuinely, I might have to get called Dana, you know, because I have shares of TKO Holdings Group. Not much, but I am Dana's fucking boss, okay? I own this man, and so do I own this event as well. That's why I'm going to shit all over it. But today we are going to do a breakdown of UFC Denver. We're going to take a look at the fights. Predictions will come later in the week as per usual. So stick around to hear my thoughts on UFC Denver, Namajunas versus Cortez. I'm Wyatt, and this is Fight Society. First off, we have Josh Fremd against Andre Petroski. Josh Fremd is coming off of a loss to Roman Kopylov. He is 11-5 overall. This is a middleweight bout. He's going up against Andre Petroski, who just got knocked out by somebody's hip bone at UFC Atlantic City in his very last fight. This is actually a good matchup, even though they don't have stellar, absolutely insane records. Middleweight's a shark tank right now. These are some rising guys. Fremd has beaten Dumas. He lost to Anthony Hernandez. He's fought some tough guys. Andre Petroski has fought some tough guys. I'm sure that Petroski is going to look to implement some wrestling. Josh Fremd is a lot taller than Petroski. He's listed at 6'4". Petroski's listed at 6 foot. So Petroski, also, especially from watching him fight, he's a very physical guy. So we will see what happens here. Expect Petroski to try to implement a wrestling-heavy physical style, but very exciting fight at 185 pounds. This should honestly probably be a lot higher up on the card if we're being real about it. So we move up the card from there to Montel Jackson is on a 4-fight winning streak, most recently over Hanayaya, and Damon Blackshear is coming off of a loss to Mario Batista, even though he did have the twister last year, and then he fought on 6 days notice or 7 days notice to fight on the O'Malley Sterling card, if I remember correctly. This is a really fun fight. I'm probably going to lean towards Montel Jackson, 4-fight winning streak. When you have activity and wins stacked up, the confidence just really plays in your favor. He's going up against Damon Blackshear. Good fight at 135 pounds. 135 pounds is such an incredibly good division. It's actually crazy to think that these guys are far from ranked. That's just how good this division is. Then you have Luana Santos and Maria Agapova. Pretty good fight. After that, we have Jasmine Jasdovidikis against Fatima Klein. Fatima Klein is coming out of Cage Fury FC. Double champ, I think, at Cage Fury. She's 6-0. She's going up against Jasmine Jasdovidikis, who's 10-3. Jasmine Jasdovidikis is 10-3. Most recently beat Priscilla Cachoeira. Before that, lost to Tracy Cortez, who's in the main event. I'm going to lean towards Jasdovidikis just from experience in this one. But then after that, we start getting into some sick fights because this card overall is not good. Like this, I look over this whole thing. This is an Apex card. So I was like, oh, I'm so pumped that we're getting out of the Apex, guys. The UFC needs to be done with the Apex. And what did they do? They give us a crowded fight night with an Apex quality card. I hate it. But we still have fights this weekend. Last week, I got stuck watching Masvidal Diaz. Now, very important fight at 125 pounds because you have Joshua Van, 22, 23 years old, looking to become the youngest champ in UFC history. He's going against Charles Energy Johnson. Very tough out for anybody at 125 pounds and Charles Johnson. Scraps on the feet. Gets after it on the ground, high-level wrestling, just all-around great athlete, going up against, kind of like the prize child up there with Tatsudo Taira and Makayev at 125 pounds. I mean, these guys are like the hope for the future at 125 pounds. Josh Van was supposed to fight Tagir Ulanbekov, or he was supposed to fight Tatsudo Taira, and then it got changed to Tagir Ulanbekov. That was supposed to be on the undercard of Tatsudo Taira and Alex Perez. Tagir Ulanbekov misses weight. This fight gets rebooked. So Joshua Van's had 4 fights this year fall out, and he's finally getting one, hopefully Hopefully this fight goes through, everybody makes weight and everything like that. But Charles Johnson's a much more winnable fight for Josh Van than Tagir Ulanbekov. I think that this plays a lot more in Josh Van's favor, and I would lean towards him to get a finish in this one, but I'll give my official predictions later in the week. Moving up the card from there, we have the GOAT bouncing back off of his first 10-second KO win at UFC 300 against Bo Nickel, where he became the biggest star in the sport, Cody Brundage, the GOAT. No, I'm just playing, but Cody Brundage up against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Every time I've seen Al Hassan fight, he gets scrappy with it and then he gasses. Cody Brundage did give Bo Nickel a very tough test, and with Bo Nickel supposedly going to be the future of this division, even though Cody Brundage is 10-6, I have a lot of respect for him based on they put him on the UFC 300 main card, said, hey, go out there and lose. Basically is what they told him. Go out there and lose to our guy. And he goes out there and he lost. He got submitted, but he put on a way better showing than the UFC and the fan base was expecting. So should be a good matchup. Cody Brundage can really mix the wrestling. I see Al Hassan mostly just throw bombs in there. So we'll see either Brundage gets chinned or he survives like the first round and gets a decision win. We move on from there to the main card. We have Christian C-Rod Rodriguez against Julian Erosa. Julian Erosa has been around at 145 pounds for a long time. Seasoned vet in the UFC. C-Rod Christian Rodriguez, I want to like this guy, but it's so hard to get behind him because he missed weight and slightly derailed the Raul Rosas hype train. And then he missed weight and beat Cameron Simon as well. So he's had problems with weight in the past. At 145 pounds, this seems to be a much better weight class. I wish guys would just fight at a tiny bit more natural weight class instead of depleting themselves so much to make one weight class down and have that size advantage. Like Alex Pereira, if he would have just been at 205 from the jump, probably wouldn't have gotten KO'd by Israel Adesanya. But then again, if he wasn't at 185 and they didn't have the opportunity to push the Pereira Adesanya storyline, maybe Pereira doesn't become the guy that we all know and love today. Moving up from there, we have Gabriel Bonfim, one of the Bonfim brothers, going up against Ange Loosa. Bonfim, huge prospect at 170. He's coming off of a loss to Nicholas Dalby. Hey, that's not a bad loss, okay? He got CKO'd. I think it was on the Almeida and Derek Lewis card in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. But there's no shame in that, all right? There's really no shame in losing to Nicholas Dalby. Dude's in his prime at 40 years old somehow. I think he might have gotten robbed. Maybe gotten robbed against Rinat Fakhretdinov. So he's going to be looking to bounce back. Prospect takes his first L, going up against somebody who's got a lot of quit in him. Ange Loosa's got a lot of quit in him. He was getting his ass. If you guys remember Brian Battle, I was whipping that ass. And then poked him in the eye. And I thought they were going to run back Ange Loosa and Brian Battle. There's a lot of heat on that. Maybe they save it for later if they both get like into the rankings at 170. But still, you have Ange Loosa, who looks for ways out of fights when it gets tough, and Gabriel Bonfim, who got beat in his last fight, got a 0 taken away from him by Nicholas Dalby. But still, very, very good prospect. Going to lean towards Bonfim in this one, but I'll do my predictions later in the week. We have Drew Dober going up against Gian Silva, who just won 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago at UFC 303 when he beat Charles Air Jourdain after missing weight. They probably said, hey, this guy's massive. Let's get him short notice at 55. If he wins, keep him at 55. Drew Dober was supposed to fight Mike Davis, who had a very impressive performance in his comeback. I think it was against Nathan Levy. I think that's who it was against. But Drew Dober, always a game opponent. He's fought Makachev. He's fought a lot of really good guys, but you do see he is fighting a Brazilian. So based on skin color alone, he's probably going to lose this fight. John Silva is going to end up as a almost ranked lightweight. But still, I'm just joking. I'm going to take Drew Dober in this fight. I think that the weight difference, didn't fight 2 weeks ago. He's been preparing for a fight. It's not second weight cut in 2 weeks. I'm going to take Drew Dober. I like activity. I usually pick activity over rest when it comes to making a prediction, but Silva just had a weight cut that he missed weight on 2 weeks ago, so maybe his commitment to the weight cut's not all the way there. Who knows? Maybe he can miss at 155, but he did just cut weight, train, and fight 2 weeks ago. I'm going to go with Drew Dober. I don't think 2 weeks is enough rest. Moving on from there, we have the co-main event, Santiago Ponzinibbio against Muslim Salikhov. This is an Apex Fight Night main event, an unranked welterweight co-main event. This is a fight night in the Apex co-main event. I'm telling you, they could have done so much better. You could have literally pulled Anthony Smith and Roman Dolidze off of 303, put them as the main event as this card because Anthony Smith trains at Factory X, which is in Colorado anyway. You could have had Brandon Royval, who also trains at Factory X, fight on this card and could have been a main event. But anyways, we have Santiago Ponzinibbio, Muslim Salikhov. Going to be a good fight. They're going to bang it out, and I am probably going to lean towards Ponzinibbio. I like the way that he can turn it into a firefight. He does get chinned sometimes, like the Kevin Holland fight, but he is very seasoned and very big for 170 pounds as well. We move on to the main event. Rose Namajunas, Tracy Cortez. It was originally Rose Namajunas and Macy Barber. Again, I don't know why you don't have highly ranked guys from Denver in the main event. But I guess they view Rose Namajunas, former champ, one of the more well-known female fighters. She's got 2.1 million on Instagram, I just saw today. She's highly paid. They said, fuck it, let's get a main event out of her. Some people know who she is. Tracy Cortez, people simp over her. Put her in there, female main event that's somewhat acceptable. But this card as a whole, kind of weak, I'm not going to lie. And it's not all their fault. We did have a couple of fights pull off of the card. As you can see, Mike Davis, Drew Dober, Chris Duncan, Nazim Salikhov, Mike Mallet, Gilbert Urbina. Some of these got replaced, but like Mike Mallet's like somewhat known. He would have been a good addition to the card, or if he would have stayed on there, but hey, that's what they do. You get your big shot against Neil Magny to break into the rankings as a prospect, and you lose, back to the fucking fight night prelims, bucko. We had you on the main card of a pay-per-view in your hometown. Back to the prelims, bum. Main event, Tracy Cortez and Rose Namajunas. I'm actually a little stumped on this one. I'm going to have a prediction video coming out tomorrow for you guys about this fight. I don't know. I'm seeing Tracy Cortez as the underdog. I have a feeling that she may be able to implement like her size, because Rose was a 115 pounder. She might be a little undersized for flyweight. Like in her flyweight debut, I think it was against Manon Fior. She looked undersized in that fight. Tracy Cortez, I believe, used to be at 115 at one point as well. I could be wrong. From a size standpoint, I'm going to lean towards Cortez. I think she's going to be a little bit more well-framed for 125 pounds. And I think that she's going to be able to implement some wrestling. Whereas Rose Namajunas, although she is a good grappler, I think she's going to try to stand on the feet. She has this thing where she like never like gets out of first gear. She just kind of coasts, whether it's a very boring loss or like a, oh, and yeah, she looked pretty good, she got this win. Basically, people like think about like the head kick against Wei Li, and they forget other really bad performances from Rose. But she comes up short in big spots, in my opinion. She beat Amanda Hebos in her last fight, but I think I'm going to lean towards Tracy Cortez getting this done. So that's my thoughts on UFC Fight Night, Namajunas versus Cortez. Let me know what you guys think down below. What fight are you most excited for? Who do you have in the main event? And yeah, what do you think about, is this card quality okay? Genuinely, is this card quality okay for you guys? I know that we're in this era of weaker fight nights, stronger pay-per-views, because it's harder to get people to fork over $80 to buy a pay-per-view. What do you guys think? Is this weak for a fight night, or am I being spoiled? I know next week at the Apex, that's a weak fight night. So like when we're in this situation where we have, in my opinion, an Apex quality card, but they do it in front of fans, I'm a little bit stumped, because I'm like, oh, you guys are at least booking arenas, but is this a arena worthy main event? I mean, you guys let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want extra content aside from my regular videos, make sure to become a channel member today to get access to members-only live streams and other bonus perks. Click the link in the description down below, or click the join button on our channel homepage. If you're interested in non-MMA content from me, make sure to check out my personal channel, Wyatt's World.